The Šiauliai Offensive was an operation of the Soviet forces of the First Baltic Front, commanded by General Hovhannes Bagramyan, conducted from July 5 to August 29, 1944, during the Second World War. It was part of the third phase of the Belarusian strategic offensive operation, and drove German troops from much of Lithuania, with the main tactical objective of the city of Šiauliai. Deployments. Wehrmacht elements of Army Group Center Northern Wing of 3rd Panzer Army 26th Corps, elements of Army Group North Southern Wing of 16th Army, Red Army 1st Baltic Front 2nd Guards Army 6th Guards Army 39th Army 43rd Army, 51st Army. The offensive. Initial phase in July 1944. The Soviet Operation Bagration had been achieving great success. Army Group Center was in tatters, and the northern edge of the Soviet assault threatened to trap Army Group North in Latvia and Estonia. Front forces participating in the Belarusian strategic offensive operation advanced to the line of the Druya River, West Voropivo and the Rock Lake from July 4, having the mission of beginning an advance in the direction of Svenčanis, Kaunas, and by part of the forces towards Panevėžys and Šiauliai. Also included in the composition of the front for this operation was the 39th Army, which had to be concentrated on the left wing of the front by July 10. The front was also reinforced by the 2nd Guards and 51st Armies from the Šteiuka Reserve, though these could only arrive in the front sector by the second half of July. The offensive began on the 5th of July with an assault by the forces of 2 Rifle Corps of the 6th Guards and 3 Rifle Corps of 43rd Armies, with support from a reduced 1st Tank Corps. Facing them were German troops of 2 corps, which were positioned on adjacent wings of Army Groups North and Center. Hyacinth Graf Stravitz's panzers had been sent to the Latvian capital, Riga, and had halted the advance of Hovhannes Bagramyan's First Baltic Front in late July 1944. Stravitz's Panzerverband was broken up in late July. For the morning of July 10, 39th Army was introduced into the battle, conducting an assault towards Kaunas. By July 12, the frontage of the offensive of 3 armies increased to 200 kilometers, the opposing troops of Army Group North. By early August, the Soviet forces were in position to cut off Army Group North from Army Group Center. Transfer of main attack from Kaunas to Šiauliai. As a result of the offensive's development, Šteiuka shifted the direction of the main attack of the First Baltic Front from Kaunas to Šiauliai. 39th Army, together with the sector of its offensive, was transferred to the 3rd Belarusian Front on July 14. In exchange, 1st Baltic Front received the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps for the development of the offensive on the Šiauliai axis. The 2nd Guards and 51st Armies were introduced into the battle on July 14. By July 22 the troops had captured Panevėžys, an important communications center of Army Group North. On July 27, the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps, in cooperation with the combined arms units of 51st Army, captured Šiauliai, which had been held by a scratch force led by Helmuth Mader. The troops of the right wing of the front, in interaction with the forces of the 2nd Baltic Front, took Daugavpils. Pressing home the attack, the forces of the front on July 30 overran strong points and road junctions Bursa and Bauska, and by July 31 had reached Jelgava. The front's mobile detachments entered Tukums and reached the coast of the Gulf of Riga, cutting the land communications of Army Group North. German counterattacks. At the end of July and beginning of August, Bagramyan's forces repulsed German counterattacks counter-attacks in the region of Berzin-Reyssania. Panzerverband von Streichwitz was reformed, this time from elements of the 101st Panzer Brigade of Oberst Meinrad von Lockhart and the newly formed SS Panzer Brigade Gross. Inside the trapped pocket, the remaining panzers and stugs of the Hermann von Salza and the last of Jard's Tigers were formed into another Kampfgruppe to attack from the inside of the trap. On the 19th of August, the assault, which had been dubbed Antonem and Opelskov, got underway. It was preceded by a bombardment by the cruiser Prince Eugene's 203mm guns, which destroyed 48 T-34s assembling in the square at Tukums. During these defensive actions, the ground forces were supported by the 3rd Air Army. By August 20, the German forces, by counterattacks in the regions west of Tukums and Sloka and with support from the Kriegsmarine, were able to push the Soviet troops away from the coastline in the southern sector and to restore the sea communications of the formations around Riga. Streichwitz and the Nordland remnants met on the 21st, and contact was restored between the army groups. Aftermath. The 101 Panzer Brigade was now assigned to Army Abnawa, bolstering the defenders' armor strength. Disaster had been averted, but the warning was clear. Army Group North was extremely vulnerable to being cut off. The 1st Baltic Front resumed its offensive that autumn, finally destroying much of 3rd Panzer Army, and severing the connection between the German Army Groups Center and North in the Memel offensive operation.